Hey everybody, Miss Mary here with Prudence again. We are still working on our drawing badge. We're going to work on step 2 and step 3 today. So last time, just to review, last time we did step 1 and we talked about the different ways to draw. We talked about different techniques, stippling or cross-hatching or just regular coloring and shading. And then you can use all different kinds of things to color with: markers, pencils, crayons, pens, all kinds of stuff. So today we are going to work on step 2. And step 2 says, learn how to add shading. Shading is a major part of drawing. Think of a face. Depending on the light, a person will have some areas in their face that are darker than others. Showing the dark areas is shading. It adds depth and makes the picture look more real. Try shading using one of the techniques below. So we're going to each draw a picture using shading. So these are different ways that you can do it. You're going to pick one of these. Either draw a picture that's mostly one color. Try a snowy field or buildings in a city at night. They look like one color, but nature uses different shades to give us depth and set them apart. You can too. You can blend different colors to show light and dark. You can use hatching or cross-hatching to shade a face drawing. Hatching is drawing lines close together to make a picture look dark. Use cross-hatching to make a grid with the lines. Where do you need to show more shadow? Does hatching and cross-hatching make the face look more real? Or you can use smudging. Use smudging to make shadows in a landscape drawing. Draw a picture of an outside scene. Darken the shadow areas. Then use your finger or a piece of paper to smudge the shadows. What happens after the smudging? Do you like the look? It says tip. When shading, start light. You can always go back and make it darker. Couple other little notes here on the page. We think of trees as green. They are green, but almost every different shade of green is representative with the largest members of the plant kingdom. No two evergreens are ever exactly the same shade of green, and that is from the Girl Scout Handbook from 1940. And then it's got this more to explore. It says, pretend you're a junior from 1977. Make one of your drawings above in charcoal or pencil, and then show how to fix the drawing so it won't smear. The girls did this to earn their drawing and painting badges. I might have to look into that. I don't know how to do that yet. So we're talking about shading today. I did this in advance so I could show you a couple different things. So as you can see here with the markers, I used a bunch of different colored markers because markers don't shade very well. So to make artwork with markers that show shading, you would need to use different colored markers to show your different colors of shade. This is probably not your best bet to do this project that we're working on today for step 2. I would suggest against markers. They're not going to shade the way you want. Then I used crayons. This big long line here is crayons of all different red and pink colors as I went from yellow through to pink. Those are here, just regular crayons, and they blend really well as I worked through all the colors. So you can see where I kind of started off light, and then as I pushed harder, it got darker, and then I switched colors to the next color and pushed harder as it got darker, and I switched and I went through all of them like that. Then I used colored pencils. And for shading, colored pencils are my favorite medium because you can use them so diversely. So if you look at these green patches, this is one colored pencil. So I started and I was using it very lightly, and then I started pushing down harder and harder to make it a darker color. Same thing here. This is just one colored pencil. So it's light, and then I push down harder to make it darker and darker and darker. So that's the kind of shading that we're looking for, whether you use, if you want to do that. So that type of shading would be what you would want to do if you're going to draw a picture using mostly one color. So that is the green here. That's the best way to do that. Hatching and cross hatching is something that you would do using maybe a pencil or a pen. And then smudging, if you want to do smudging, you need to make sure you use a medium that can actually smudge. So you would want to use like a charcoal or a chalk. And don't use those without talking to your parents first, because they can make a big mess. So if you are worried about a mess, maybe that is not your best option. I think Prudence and I are probably going to aim more towards drawing a picture that is mostly one color and use them to do shading, because that's going to be the cleanest, and we have all the tools to do that here. So I'm going to pause. I want you to press pause right now. Take 15 minutes, no more, just 15 minutes. Don't get too crazy. Remember, no matter what you draw, it's going to be awesome. So take 15 minutes and draw a small picture that meets one of these categories. Draw a picture that is something mostly one color, using hatching or cross hatching, or using smudging to show the different shades in the picture. So hit pause now, and we'll see you back shortly. Whoops. Hi, welcome back. I hope you took 15 minutes to do your drawing. Prue and I both did ours. I'll show you mine first. Mine's pretty simple. It's okay. I did a leaf, and I used one colored pencil. That's it, nothing else. And I did different shadings to show the light and dark and the lines on my leaf here. So I thought it was pretty cool. So there's mine. Here is Prudence's. Prudence, why don't you tell me what you did?
I did an ocean, and I used a couple different colored pencils for shading. I made a wave there, and I used a lot of different colored pencils for my...
Perfect. So lots of different blues for Prudence's ocean. So my niece recently took a college drawing art class. I'm not sure what it's called. Doesn't matter. And she brought me a couple of her artworks that's going to show us some of what we're doing here too. So this one shows a lot of the shading that we're working on. You can see the shadows in the picture. Your shadows here, showing all of the different shading methods that you can use. So this was really cool, and thank you, Emma, for letting us use this to show. So I hope that you guys worked on some shading artwork. I would love to see pictures. Remember, Pixar didn't happen. So if you would like to earn the badge, you need to have your mom, dad, aunt, sister, uncle, whoever's helping you out, send me a picture of your artwork so I know you did it, so that we can make sure you get credit for it so you can earn the badge. So that concludes step 2. We're going to move on to step 3 in this video as well. Step 3, it says, get some perspective. Perspective means that some objects in a picture look farther away than others. For example, if you draw a big house at the bottom of your paper and a tiny dog at the top of the paper, the dog will look like it's behind the house in the distance. Try using perspective in one of these activities. Choose one. Whoop, somebody's getting a phone call. Draw an outdoor scene. First, draw a horizon line across your page, and then imagine you're standing in front of your picture. Make the objects close to you look biggest, and draw the objects smaller as they get closer to the horizon. Look at photos of landscape for an idea on how this works. Zoom in on an object. This is another option. For example, if you want to draw a landscape scene, pretend you're looking through a camera and press zoom. What do you see? Draw that. Take a bug's eye view. How would an object or scene look if you were a bug? Fill your paper, since a bug would see everything as super huge. So some ideas on perspective. Here's another piece of artwork that my niece did that she has loaned to us so that we can take a look. So this is a room or a building, And you can see the perspective. She's looking at the corner here, and it shows that it gets smaller as it goes away, as you're looking away from it. So there is some perspective there for you. So that's pretty cool. On the paper here, it shows us different ways when they're talking about doing the horizon line. So the horizon line here, this one's flat, so everything's the same size. Or this one, you've got your horizon line and you can see the road. It's smaller here than it is here because it's farther away, and it gets bigger as it comes closer to you. The house is bigger than the tree because the tree is farther away. So you see all of that? So we are going to do one of the three of these. You're going to either draw an outdoor scene showing things closer and farther away, zoom in on an object. So basically pretend it was very, very close and you draw what it looks like really, really close to you. Or pretend you're a bug. Pretend you're a ladybug. Maybe you're looking at your bookshelf in your room, or you're looking at the car from the sidewalk and you can see this big giant car. So you can do any one of these, and we'd like to see your perspective artwork here shortly. Couple little notes on here. It says more to explore. Take a make-believe balloon ride. Use your imagination flying over two of these areas or places of your own choosing from far away from your home. A village set high in the mountains, or a ship near a coral reef, a desert town near oil wells, a forest hideaway, or a river plantation in the jungle. Draw what you could see. So that's the perspective of seeing things almost from a bug's eye view. You can also see things from a bird's eye view. So maybe like if you were flying in an airplane and you looked out the window when you're going over big cities and stuff, you could see, and you know the city's gigantic, but everything's teeny tiny. So those are different perspectives. So now's the time. Hit pause, take about 15 minutes to draw a perspective artwork, and then come back and see me. Thanks. All right, I hope that you got your perspective drawing done. It's definitely a lot harder than we thought it was, wasn't it? I did a little perspective drawing. Hey, just going to show you, I'm not an artist. That's just how it is. So I did some mountains and a river with a little walkway and some flowers. So you can see how the mountains here in the front are bigger and the river is wider, and the stones in the walkway are bigger, and how the flowers are bigger, right? So these are closer. And as it moves away, things get smaller and smaller. The mountains look smaller, the river looks smaller, the stones look smaller. So there is my perspective drawing. So that completes step 3. So we've done 1, 2, and 3. We need to do 4 and 5. We'll do those in the next section. But definitely send me pictures of your pictures so that you can earn credit for these badges. So the only way to get credit for these drawing badges is if you show me your pictures. So we should have 3 different pictures so far. So we should have our trying different mediums, our shading, and our perspective. So there should be 3 pieces of art that you have already completed for us to see. So take pictures, send them over so you can get credit. I'll see you next time.